This was a place of sheer horror. More than 54,000 tsunami victims were dumped here. Without identification, without dignity, without ceremony. At the time, there was nothing else to do. Bodies were rotting in the streets. We followed the body baggers then. It was a nightmare. Death everywhere we looked, everywhere we stepped. It was like that for the survivors too, searching among the corpses for their families. 1 year later, those survivors come to the mass grave, searching for solace. A nightmare about his mother brought 18-year-old Wallace here.
Last night I dreamed. Wallace, why you didn't come to my house, she said.
My house. Sorry, I said.
The college student lost more than 200 members of his family and is now responsible for his brother and little sister. But it's his mother's death that haunts him.
My mother was at home.
Sorry.
Wallace, who wants to be a computer programmer, blames himself for his mother's death.
My father asked me to go swim out in the black water and try to find my mother. I thought it was impossible to find her in the dark water since everyone was running away to save their lives. How can I swim towards the tsunami to find my mother? It was impossible.
Then he confesses his secret to me.
I couldn't swim. I couldn't swim, so I ran away to the mountains.
Hours later, Wallace tried swimming for the first time.
I finally arrived at my house, but there was no house anymore, just foundation. But I recognized that it was my house. I sat there and cried, "Where are you, Mother? How can I find you?"
His search brought him to the mass grave.
I spent hours walking around, looking at the dead bodies, looking at their faces, trying to find my mother. I was afraid because there were too many dead bodies.
In Wallace's recurring nightmare, his mother asks why he didn't come home to save her. So he comes to the mass grave to ask her forgiveness, though he'll never know if she's really buried here. Those who are, he says, do not rest in peace, because this is disputed land. The caretaker who grows fruit and vegetables on the grave says the 54,000 bodies were buried here without the landowner's permission. The sign says the landowner is angry, wants to be paid. A situation which brings no peace to the living. When you look out here,
Yes.
what do you see?
I see the dead body.
I saw the process with the tractor, like animals. They just threw them away. The process was horrible. In Islam, we bury people with white clothing, but there were no burial clothes. I know that my mother was thrown from a tractor like that, here.
The disputed mass grave is now green with life. Cows roam. Papaya trees grow. Little comfort for survivors like Wallace. There is nowhere else for them to mourn. Alex Quade, CNN, Banda Aceh, Indonesia.